2 people, 2 pups, 2 boats, and 2 ways of savoring life. Through the hard work of restoring our Heavenly Twins Catamaran, and through the adventures we take and places we visit on our McGregor 26X. Our channel takes an easygoing, lighthearted approach to enjoying life, one bikini at a time. So if you're up for some sailing and other fun, then we're happy to have you aboard. We post new videos every couple weeks, so hit that subscribe button and we'll see you here next time. Previously on Sailing and Fun, we shared with you the new paddleboard that we added to the equipment.
And I think that you said, shit. Oh my God.
You okay?
We went with an inflatable one. Easy to fill and easy to take down and a lot of fun. I love this color that the captain picked out. It perfectly matches with the reef. In fact, I hardly noticed the big shark swimming under my feet. And even though it is inflatable, it's pretty rugged, so the girls can get on and have a good time too.
Where is she going?
I will say you have to work on your balance a little more with this board than with the traditional.
Oh.
I got it. There she goes.
And then we took a trip back to the Catamaran where we had yet another surprise. Took care of some rotted and saturated wood in the threshold. Well, I guess the captain is into animal prints because he bought me a couple of fun new suits. If you want to hone your animal instincts, check out the links below and head over to Vimeo, where we have our latest video, Sea Leopard, and many others available, with extended content, deleted scenes, and uncensored footage. And thank you so much to all of our Vimeo supporters and, of course, our amazing patrons.
What do you think? Breezy. Easy breezy.
Well, we're headed out for a nice smooth sail on the beautiful bayside of Florida Keys. And the captain has his chill vibe, and I have my usual can't sit still vibe. In my defense, the hatch is not the most comfortable place to sit, especially without a cushion, but it has one of the best views on the boat.
Captain put a leash on Scout because we were drifting. She decided to swim around the boat. And I guess we stopped drifting and she started swimming faster than the boat.
I guess she can catch up with the boat.
I guess so. We were worried we were gonna lose her. She's going again. She's going around again. Scout, you are so funny.
I did not anticipate this problem.
We must be picking up speed because she's turning. Scout, you're the best swimmer on the boat.
Scout, you can't let her win. I almost kicked her in the face. That's cheating. Kicking her in the face is cheating. Swimming off into the sunset.
Now from the wet and clean to the dusty and dirty.
We like to wear these fishing scarves because dirt's swollen all around. I don't typically wear it, but T's pretty good about keeping them on.
We don't like to wear sunscreen when we work either, and we're constantly chasing down the shade. And although the captain does not mind a farmer's tan, I try to wear long sleeves and long pants as much as possible. It also helps protect us a little bit against the bumps, bruises, and cuts. Okay, so on to the work. In our last video, we showed you how we had to remove a good portion of the wood because we had a mysterious leak coming in. We found it and pulled away a bunch of the fiberglass to try to see what we could do to rectify the problem. So here we have a little bit of moisture in here still, but not bad. You can see how well the wood has dried out. But we've got some decent wood here in our pile and some things we're gonna have to piece together. We just can't buy anything specific for that area because it's so weird. Here's just a side note. Captain went around and knocked all of these down. So I came over here and I just plunked my shoulder down on the side and then I looked in front of me and these were sticking up like every 2 feet. I mean, that could have been a real problem.
We use Ryobi battery powered tools and they work great for our situation, but we do run them out really quickly. Cutting heavy materials or thick pieces of wood really draw the battery down quickly, so we stocked up with 6 to keep us going during a project.
We have our first piece in here. It's pretty tight in there, and we did a little patch of fiberglass over this. This was the culprit for all the water. This part wasn't because we had it all covered, but there was like one little area in the front that the water was coming in, and it was coming in over several months, and the other wood was just wicking it up. But you know, well, you come across those surprises and you have to pivot. A little finagling. I only have 1 inch and 3 inch deck screws, and the captain says deck screws are better not using stainless steel and pressure treated. I wasn't aware of that, so that's a good little thing to know. In order for me to get this wood in here, I have to screw it in from the back side, and I'm gonna screw in the front here. I did some countersinking here too, because then we have a piece of plywood that is going to go over the top of this. So I dropped in about 10 screws and everything feels nice and firm and secure. So another shot of while we were doing this, you can see all the rotting of the wood and how saturated it was. So now the vertical 2x2 piece has been replaced. We also added this 2x6, a really beefy piece of wood. This wasn't a replacement, this was just an addition for a nice rigid threshold. And of course the beam that was across the bottom was a 2x2, and we replaced that. It was in pretty bad shape, saturated on one side and just dry rot on the other side, but not anymore. In boat building, you'd most likely see Douglas fir, cedar, mahogany, oak, but we went with pressure-treated pine. In this particular application, it works out well. We did raise the threshold up a bit from the original fiberglass and did a 45 angle coming into the boat so water doesn't come in. Next was on to templating for that front piece. Now we were hoping to do it all in one continuous piece of wood. That didn't work out when we did the dry fitting. We couldn't quite sandwich it between the existing fiberglass that was there, so we made just a small modification. It still worked out well.
So that wonky piece that we did, what we ended up doing is I just drew a line and he cut it. And we were able to cinch it between the fiberglass. And this top piece we can't quite do because this is a little bit different here, but anyway, we'll still figure it out. But we got this bottom piece in. Look at that. Does that look good? It took a little bit of hammer and a little bit of effort, but it is in. I'm excited about that. Little accomplishments.
The reason we had to cut that wood in half is because from the top to the bottom, the thickness of the wood needs to be a little smaller at the top than it does at the bottom. And it was hard for us to fit one piece of wood in when we were sandwiching it between that fiberglass there. So I ended up using just a 1/4 inch piece of pressure treated ply, and it worked out perfectly.
It looks like, oh my gosh, what's, all this wood going on here. But what was here originally was a 2x2 and mahogany ply. This is the mahogany ply here that's the original. So really, even though we have all this wood kind of pieced together, there's a lot of beefy wood in here. Then we're going over the top with our additional bulkhead that we're adding.
All right, next time we'll show you the next step in this threshold dilemma. So one last little tip here. You always think about protecting your eyes, your hands, your breathing, but you rarely think about your ears. And even in an outdoor setting, the tools can be pretty loud. Unfortunately, right now we only have one set of ear protection. We're looking forward to not having to share with one another and getting our fingers out of our ears.